thinking that I could have done something, but now I'm left with an empty heart. No making amends, no waking up beside you and holding you till we forget it all. How could I know there was no second chances? Like dominoes, my life got really scattered. You couldn't keep the door shut, and now the frostbite's creeping in. 'Cause I've been stone cold since you left me here. So come home, why won't you reappear? Things that I said came out totally wrong. Can't speak of the truth when it's tainted. I fell into a big black hole. It got me stone cold. You got me stone cold. You got me stone cold. You got me stone cold. Got me stone cold. No Wizard of Oz can undo what I've done. Completely out of luck this time. I'm stuck in reverse. I gotta get away now, but I can't seem to take the lead. Oh baby, how could I know there was no second chances? Like dominoes, my life got really scattered. Still, I find myself hoping that you'll find your way back to me. 'Cause I've been stone cold since you left me here. So come home, why won't you reappear? Things that I said came out totally wrong. Can't speak of the truth when it's tainted. I fell into a big black hole. It got me stone cold. You got me stone cold. You got me stone cold. You got me stone cold. Got me stone cold.
I've been waiting all my life for something. I've been down the darkest roads and up in the clouds, but I've always felt that something's missing. That was until I found you right there in the crowd. You came into my life and started a fire. You made me feel like I could touch the sky. Oh, there's nothing missing now that you're my desire. Now all I have to do is to make you mine. 'Cause I know, and you know what we could be. Like a song, like a perfect melody. Baby, don't say you don't believe in me. 'Cause you know, and I know, we're onto something good. You know, and I know, we got something good. I've been waiting for the one forever. Finally I got you, baby, here in my heart. When I'm with you I feel so much better, oh yeah. Before you I was just a shell, so stuck in the dark. You came into my life and started a fire. You made me feel like I could touch the sky. Oh, there's nothing missing now that you're my desire.
Welcome to today's session. Great to see so many people here already commenting away. Hope things are going well for you. So we start in 3 minutes. I have a very special guest for today. I'll introduce soon. 3 minutes, but let's see who we've got here. If you haven't already, please let me know where you're from in the world. Say something interesting about yourself in the comments, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever you happen to be right now. And if you are brand new, as in never been to one of my live streams before, just put new into the comment and I'll give you a special shout out if you're here for the very first time. Because I have a few names here that I don't recognize, so it may well be that you are here for the first time. Anyway, we have, I'm really pleased that we have Lisa here. From Sussex in the UK. She says, hi Mark and Margie, looking forward to the session. Really pleased because I had a live stream yesterday. Some of you know. Let me know if you were here yesterday and what was the best bit of yesterday's session. Yesterday was about how to write a book. But I made the point that Lisa did get a shout out yesterday because she wasn't there. And I think it's the first one, Lisa, you've ever missed. You're always the first person to comment. So you were missed yesterday. Welcome back, Lisa. So who else is here? We have, again, from the UK, John Johnson's here from Hartford. It says hand pink waving. I guess your emojis aren't quite working, John, but I can kind of picture that. And who else have we got here? Sarah is here. Sarah Bridges says, good morning, Mark and Margie. Hi there, Sarah. We do have quite a few people from the UK. We have from Birmingham in the UK, let me get this pronounced right. I often struggle with this one. Lakshmi, is that right? Have I pronounced that right? I hope I have. Tell me if I've got it wrong. We also have from South Africa, Helgard is here. Hi there. Somebody who is new, who's never been before, is Del Fleming from LA. Hi there, Del. Welcome to your first live stream with me. I'll tell you in a couple of minutes how it's going to, how it works. We have Sharon Turner is here from Ohio in the US. I need to hurry up because it's on the hour now. So let me just do a few quick shout outs and then we'll get started. So where do I get to? Yes, Sharon's here. Welcome, Sharon. Good to see you. Amy Larson's here from Utah. Hi there, Amy. As I already said, Del is here for the first time. He's brand new to my live streams. Welcome. Ashwani is here from London. I don't know if that's London, UK or London, Canada, but it's one of the Londons anyway. We have Kelly Russell is here from Canada. Nanaimo, hi there, Kelly. John says too technical for me. That's the hand waving, but we have got an emoji now, John. Okay, yes, cool. We have, I thought you said, what you said, Ashwani. Carol's here. Hi there, Carol. Hope's all's well with you. And Ashwani's from the UK. And I also have first person to comment on Facebook. I have no idea who you are. And that's because Facebook blocks the name for some reason. It just says Facebook users, so forgive me, but I know that you are in Canada. Anyway, we're on the hour. In fact, we've just gone over the hour. And so please keep the comments coming in. So a couple of things before we start. A couple of things. Firstly, please feel free to comment throughout. I will give shout outs and so on. But most important, once we get up and running, if you have any questions for our special guest today, it's Margie Remmers-Davis. If you've got any questions for her, then put them in the comments box wherever you are on social media. Put them in the comments. It'll appear on my end and I'll ask your question on your behalf. If you ask a question, for those of you that are new, please put two capital Q's in front because sometimes the comments goes crazy. People are commenting often all the time. So 2 capital Q's will help it jump out. And at this point, somebody normally helps me out by doing exactly that. So I can show that. I will when it comes through. So put 2 capital Q's in front. And a couple of other quick things. Many of you know that one of the things that we do is every time we go live, for each and every one of you that are here live, we make a contribution to a project around the world to help make the world a better place. We do that through the B1G1 organization, and our project for the month of February is about helping poor, disadvantaged children in northern Kenya, where malnutrition causes all sorts of problems, including blindness. So as a thank you to you for being here today live, we will, on your behalf, be giving you daily vitamin doses to help a child and avoid blindness in northern Kenya. So thank you for being here. A couple of other very quick things. If you've not been on my last couple of live streams, back end of last year, I wrote a brand new ebook about how to price cleanup work. I know that's something that people struggle with, how to price cleanup work. And if you'd like a completely free complimentary copy of that 28-page ebook, then Sarah is going to put a link in the comments at some point during the course of this session, probably fairly soon, but it takes a while. She has to dig out the link, she has to put it in Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and so on. Other and final announcement is also we have our upcoming 3-day virtual online conference coming up, the Profitable Bookkeeping Conference 2023. It takes place the 21st to the 23rd of February. I'll be teaching you how to value price bookkeeping services, and we have some amazing, great guest speakers as well. And we are giving away free tickets for that conference. And again, Sarah's going to put a link into the comments at some point during the course of this session, so you can grab yourself a free ticket to that conference. Okay, before I introduce my guest, let me just see what's been going on in the comments. So Carol Kosterchuk is in her new home on the lake. Congratulations, that's awesome. We have over on Facebook, it's Joan Marjorie Marriott. Hi, Joan. And Sarah's helped me out here. If you want to ask a question, that's what 2 capital Qs look like. Sometimes people aren't quite so sure. Sometimes people forget that. And if you don't put the QQ in front, I might miss your question. And we have a hard finish on the hour. So if you do have a burning question, the sooner you ask it, the better, because once we get to the hour, we will close. Sometimes we don't get through all the questions. Okay, I think that's about it, other than the links are there for my ebook on cleanup. The links should be there for the conference. Grab your place for that. Right, with that said, let's get to our very special guest, Margie Remmers-Davis, because today we're going to be talking all things QuickBooks and the ProAdvisor program, how to use that to become more visible and win more clients, and how to become more valuable so you can charge higher prices. So Margie, hi there. How are you doing?
I'm awesome. You're such a great host. I also do live streams, and I'm like just sitting here learning from you. So there's all sorts of things that we can learn from Mark, not just value pricing, and yesterday how to be a good author, and so now I'm learning how to do a live stream.
Well, thank you for that. I mean, I've been, as many people know, I am a huge introvert, and a lot of people struggle with, wonder how I do what I do, but it's just through learning and doing it. I wasn't born to be a great speaker. And in my academies, I tell my story sometimes of my first experience of public speaking, which was a complete nightmare. But I have been speaking now and teaching from the stage since the year, 1999. And then eventually I got into YouTube video, but that was scary. I think that was in the early, I think 2006 or something I started YouTube, I forget. But, and here's the funny thing, I've been on the stage at big conferences, but in the last 5-6 years, everyone's saying you've got to do live streams, do Facebook Live and stuff. And I was petrified about clicking that go live button. Even though I speak on stages, I do webinars, I do videos, I found that really, really scary. And then eventually, I think it was 2 years ago, I made the decision that, what was 2 years ago? 2021. 2021 was the year that I would go live. And it was very nerve-wracking the first time, but thank you for that comment, that feedback. I think it's just because I've done so many now, and I've got to a stage now where I love live streams. Yeah. This is the thing I enjoy doing more than anything else. I just have...
Oh, really? Awesome.
Yeah, I just have fun with talking to people via the comments and interacting, and so many wonderful people like Lisa keeps showing up all the time and supporting me. So thank you, Lisa. Anyway, let's get into. I'm just going to move Lisa a little bit, if that's okay, Lisa. Okay, I've done that. So let's get started. And actually, what I'd love to know first, Margie, is I know when we first met last year, you told me your story, which I found was fascinating. And so let's hear a bit more about the story. How did
Yeah.
you get started doing what you're doing?
Nothing I love talking about more than myself. So no, so in 2018, I was a stay-at-home mom. I had been married for 20 years, loved raising my family, being a homemaker, and my husband suddenly decided that he wanted a divorce. And it was a big punch in the gut. And, I had been out of the workforce for 20 years, and I just had to completely refigure out my life. I was like, what the heck am I going to do? I initially thought that I would just be able to hop back into the workforce. So, I was like, I'm still the same person. I'm still smart. I'm still educated. Like, I'll just hop back in and get a job. And it turns out that when you're out of the workforce for 20 years, people don't, rush to hire you. And so I just thought, what the heck am I going to do? And like so many people in my situation, I turned to bookkeeping. I had always been good at math. I loved numbers, and I had always managed our family's finances. And I had even dabbled in managing some other people's finances. I'd been treasurer for organizations. So I'm like, this seems like it's going to be a good fit. And so I started a bookkeeping program. I started learning QuickBooks Online, and I dove into the free training that Intuit provides to help you become a certified QuickBooks Online ProAdvisor. And it was so awful. The training was so bad. I was tearing my hair out. And in my former life, before marriage and kids, I had worked for a medical software company, and I had developed training programs for proprietary software. So the whole time I was going through their training, I just kept thinking to myself, I could do such a better job than this. But I couldn't chase that squirrel, right? Like, I had a life to put together. Like, I had to get my life in order, and I just had to put my blinders on and just stay focused. And I went through, I got my certification. I got both the basic level and the advanced level certifications like right away. And I was so glad that I did, because my very first client, a bookkeeping client, needed a feature that I had only learned about in the advanced. So I, in building my, bookkeeping career, like so many people do, joined Facebook groups to become familiar with other people and have people to ask questions and all of that kind of stuff. And I just found that so many people were struggling with this ProAdvisor certification training. I just couldn't ignore it anymore. And so I finally said, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And so I whipped together a course, and I just put it out there and said, hey, if you want to get your certification fast and easy, just do this. You don't have to slog through the Intuit training. And to my surprise, it just flew off the shelf. Like, people were clamoring. It's kind of like, I like to describe it like ants on a log. So, like, you just turned over, and I didn't realize how many people were struggling with this. And so, I mean, I guess we could talk about like why it's even valuable to have. Do you want me to go in that, or I'm sure you have questions you want to ask? I don't want to get us off track.
Actually, I will ask that question, but before I do,
Yeah.
You talked about how it flew off the shelf. I think
Yeah.
I know the answer, but I've heard people say great things about your training. How many people have you trained now?
I have around 4,000 students.
Wow. And that's in a very short space of time. That's very
Yeah.
impressive. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. We actually launched that first course in 2020. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Very, very impressive. Yeah. And later on, Margie, when we get to the end, I'll ask you to just say a little bit more about that. And Sarah's going
Yeah,
to, I think, got a
sure.
link to put in the comments box if people want to find out more about
Yeah.
what you do. But yeah, let's talk about, for anyone that doesn't know, what is the ProAdvisor program? What is it? And why should people think about it? What's the benefit of it?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. Now, I noticed in the introduction when you were talking, introducing like all the people that were on the chat, is you do have an international audience. So I need to clarify that my expertise is in the United States with the United States ProAdvisor program. Intuit does have ProAdvisor programs for United States, Canada, uh, where you are, United
You,
Kingdom,
yeah.
and
I'm actually in
Brazil.
Portugal, so that's probably not
Oh, that's
probably not
right.
on the
You're in
list.
Portugal, right? And there's one more. I can't remember which one. Oh, Australia, I think it is. So there's 5 ProAdvisor programs, and I just learned about there is an international. I do get a lot of people from the Philippines, Africa, asking me about ProAdvisor programs, and I just found out that they now have an international ProAdvisor program. So if anybody wants to find out more about that, they can contact Intuit directly. Or, I know you're going to give out my contact information, email us, and we'll send you the link to that other program. So that's for the international users. But so I'm just going to talk about in the United States. So Intuit, which you probably know, are the makers of QuickBooks Online, and they have developed. It's several years now. They have developed these ProAdvisor certifications, and the certification from Intuit just means that you know the software. Just having the certification does not make you a good bookkeeper. Well, I always want to say that right off. It's kind of like when you get your driver's license, you go get your permit, which is that permit is just that written test that makes sure that you know the rules of the road, you know what a stop sign means, that kind of stuff. So it doesn't mean you're a good bookkeeper, but it does know that you know the software. And Intuit is very interested in having as many accountants and bookkeepers as possible get this certification, because if you have that certification, you become an ambassador for them, right? You then know all of the different features. You know all of the different subscription levels. You can help guide your clients in using QuickBooks Online, and they want people using QuickBooks Online. So they want you to have this certification, and they'll give you benefits for having the certification. And the number one benefit is being listed in their ProAdvisor directory. So we titled this live stream, How to Become More, Visible and Valuable Overnight. Okay, so visibility is like the number one thing, is that once you have that ProAdvisor certification, you're going to be listed in their ProAdvisor directory. So if you just go to Google right now and you type find an accountant QuickBooks or QBO, you're going to get a link to what's, their ProAdvisor directory, and anybody can do this. You type in your zip code, and you'll get a list of all of the ProAdvisors, the certified ProAdvisors in that zip code. And then you as a ProAdvisor, as a bookkeeper, as an accountant, you set up this profile. And what's beautiful about this profile is not only does Intuit, do marketing for you, like, so they're the ones that are listed, in Google, in the Google search words, right? So they're going to market this for you, but you have a description where you can put all about your services. You can collect reviews, which actually bump you up. The more reviews you have and the more certifications you have, the higher you are listed in that directory. And then right on there, people can contact you. You can say what your specialty is. People can contact you with like a little contact form. You can actually, if you're brand new and you don't even have a website, you can use your ProAdvisor profile as your website, because it has everything that people need, all the information about you, the reviews, the contact form. Like it's super valuable to be listed in that directory. So that's visibility. And then also once you've achieved that, not only are you listed in the ProAdvisor directory, but now you have a badge that you can post everywhere. You can put it on your business cards if people are still using business cards. You can put it in your, in a listing somewhere else. You can put it in your emails. You can. I know one bookkeeper who, after she got her ProAdvisor, she was brand new, just starting out. She got her ProAdvisor certification, and the very next day she went to a networking event. And it was a speed networking event, so they just went quick to everybody. And everybody she talked to, she's like, I don't know what to say. She didn't have her 30 seconds, right? So she didn't know what to say. All she said was, she said, I'm a QuickBooks Online ProAdvisor. Like that's what she said. And the whole world knows what QuickBooks Online is. And if you say ProAdvisor, they know that means something. And she got her very first client from that networking event just by saying, I'm a ProAdvisor. So yeah, it instantly you become visible. And then the other benefit of having the ProAdvisor, in addition to being listed, in addition you have the badge that you can put everywhere, is that you gain knowledge that you might not otherwise have about the software. I mentioned in my intro that my very first client required a feature that I would never have known about if I had not studied the advanced material, like if I had not learned those features. I mean, of course you can learn QuickBooks Online just by playing around. You can learn it, if you have a job, but you're not necessarily going to be exposed to all of those more, those features and certainly those more advanced things if you don't go through actually the training and put in the effort to get that certification.
Great. I've actually got a question come in, so we'll deal with that in a second. But
right.
if I could, before I do that, if I could just add to that what you say is so true, because we have people in the Value Pricing Academy who I often hear they say they get so much business from their ProAdvisor profile. In fact, for anybody here who wants to know more about how to optimize your ProAdvisor profile, I know you know this, Margie. We're doing one of my students in the Value Pricing Academy who's got a great profile, getting great results. We're going to be doing a training session. I forget the exact date, but I think it's coming up very soon. I think it's early March.
I'm so excited about that. I'm so excited about that, because that is the next hurdle, right? Is having a profile that people actually want to contact you. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Now, on the subject of profiles, from over in Colorado, a fellow cyclist. I'm a cyclist, but also Dan.
I'm a cyclist also. That's exciting.
Well, Dan cycles around Colorado a lot, where all the roads are straight. Dan and I follow each other on Strava, and every time I go for a ride, it's a big 50-mile square, and that's it. Anyway, they don't do nice curvy corners in Colorado, where Dan is. Anyway, the question was, sorry, I've distracted. Dan says, I created a profile for my ProAdvisor profile site, but it was rejected because it mentioned I use QuickBooks. Can you talk about this, please?
Yeah, so that's a pretty broad thing that you mentioned, QuickBooks. Obviously, it's a QuickBooks profile. The main thing that they want to make sure that you do not do in any of your marketing. And so when they approve your profile, now I'll just preface this by saying I don't work for Intuit, and so I'm not privy to all of the internal things. And so if you have issues, you do have to address it with Intuit directly. But they will, in addition to reading your profile, they will visit your website if you have a website linked in your profile, and they want to make sure that you do not at any time present yourself as if you work for Intuit or as if you are associated with QuickBooks Online. So you can't say QuickBooks Online can't be more prominent than anything else. So there's rules where you have to say, you're a QuickBooks Online trainer, you don't offer QuickBooks Online training or something like that. When you get certified, and who is it, Dan? They provide, there's a zip file when you go into your certification history, you download your certificate. They give you a zip file, and in the zip file is all of those regulations that they tell you, like how you can use the logo and all of that stuff. So revisit that, make sure that you have done that. And it's probably the website, my guess, is where you're getting tripped up, not the description itself. But then also you can look at the description to see, you just want to make sure that you present yourself as an independent freelance bookkeeper who uses QuickBooks, not somebody who is officially with Intuit or QuickBooks in any capacity.
Great. Thanks for that, Margie. Dan, I hope that helps. But if you need some more help, I'm sure you can reach out to Margie afterwards. We'll share her details later. So next, we talked a little bit about some of the benefits of the ProAdvisor program, and we will be, Dan says thanks, by the way. Thank you, Dan. So we talked a bit about the benefits of the program. And if we've got some time later today, we might perhaps look into a little bit more about top tips for using it. But as I say, we've got another session coming up soon on that. Margie, let's talk a little bit about the testing process. What's the process people have to go through to get certified?
So the test itself is right inside your QBOA account. Now, hopefully your whole audience knows the difference between a QBO account and a QBOA account, but just in case, Intuit does provide a free QuickBooks Online subscription to accountants and bookkeepers. And you can just go to proadvisor.intuit.com and sign up for your free account. When you sign up for your free account, again, you have to be for that email or for that URL that I just gave you have to be in the United States, Canada, specific countries. But you sign up for your free account. It's going to ask you for an email address. This is one of my big tips, and I will just say it right now, is that when you sign up for your QBOA account, make sure that you use a professional email address. Now, it doesn't mean you have to have your own domain. It doesn't mean you have to be, mark@abcbookkeeping.com, right? It can be marksbookkeeping@gmail, right? But this is the email address that you are going to give clients when you're going to be adding them to your QuickBooks. So I know actual people who signed up for their QBOA account using a super unprofessional email that they set up in junior high school. So yeah, it's not impossible, but it is difficult to change that email address once you have set it up. And you don't want to be giving an unprofessional email address out to your clients. Okay. So that's my number one tip about that. So you're going to sign up, you're going to enter an email address, you're going to enter a phone number. You want to make sure that is a phone number that can receive texts. So not a landline, because you're going to have two-factor authentication when you come back in. It's also going to ask you for a company name. A lot of people, if they're brand new, freak out when they get to that because they think, oh, I don't have a company name. I'm just starting out. What do I do? What do I do? The company name is unlike the email address. The company name is very easy to change later. So you can just say ABC. It doesn't matter. You can go back and change that later. So once you have gotten your QBOA account, all of the ProAdvisor training and certification is right inside your account, and it's all absolutely free. The account is free. The training is free. The test is free. So once you go in to your QBOA account, You just click ProAdvisor, select training. Once you are in there, there is a button that says Certification Hub, and then you're going to go right there and take the test. Now, when you take the test, there are 3 levels of certification: basic level, advanced, and they just released a payroll certification last year. But you have to have that basic level certification first before you can even take the other tests. So when you first do it, then there's only going to be that one test for you to take. When you click the test, there are just a couple of things that you need to know. First, that you do have 3 tries to be able to to pass the test. Passing is an 80% or more. And you have 3 tries. If you fail all 3 tries, then you're locked out from trying again for a period of 60 days. So, you want to make sure that you know what you're doing when you go in and take the test. It is an open book test, which means you can use all of the resources that you have available, except for another person. That's the only thing you have to, when you sign in, you have to agree to take that you will be taking the test unassisted by a person. But you can have notes. You can Google. I don't recommend Google for a lot of reasons, but you can go back into the QBO training. It's all open book. So just take a deep breath. You don't have to rush. You don't have to memorize anything. So you can just go through. The test is not timed. That's another big question that I get. So you can take as long as you want to do the test. And one thing I'll mention about the 3 tries, those 3 tries are only if you actually submit the test. So if you submit the test to get a grade, then you can do that piece 3 times. But if you start taking the test and you feel like, oh my gosh, this is over my head, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't want to do this, you can click, there's a little button that says leave exam. And you can leave the exam. No harm, no foul. It does not count as one of your 3 tries. You can go back and study more and then come back and take the test. The basic test is 5 sections, and each section is its own mini test. So you take section 1 and then submit it, and then you can come back 2 weeks later, 2 months later, whatever you need, and go and take section 2. It doesn't matter, as long as they're all in the same certification period. The certification period runs from November 1st through October 31st. So our current period started last November 1st, and then you have until October 31st of this year to take the test, take it, exit out, whatever, if you need to. It's all multiple choice. So there are there's check boxes sometimes and all that, but it's not like essay. You don't have to remember anything. You don't have to remember terms and type them in right or anything like that. So let's see. Anything else you want to know about the test?
Yeah, I was about to say that
Yeah.
I'm keeping my eye on the clock, and we're halfway through. And apart from Dan, we've not had any questions yet. And I know, Margie, you said at the outset you've got loads of stuff you can talk about, so that's not a problem at all.
Yeah.
But if you're watching and you've got questions in your mind, now's a good time to ask those questions. Otherwise, we don't want you leaving the live stream and not having your questions asked. So remember, stick your questions in the chat box if you've got one. Whatever comes to mind, ask a question. But in the absence of questions, I'll ask one, I think. So, Margie, you've talked about the testing process to get certified. How do you study for that test?
Yeah, so that's an excellent question. And I will mention, I know that you are going to provide, or Sarah's going to provide, a resource at the end. Everything that I'm talking about today is in that resource. So if I'm talking really fast, maybe it's all like, maybe there's too much information to be able to ask questions. But in that resource that Sarah's going to provide, there are everything that I'm talking about. So Intuit provides free training. Well, free training for a certification. So I mentioned that everything is contained inside your QBOA account. In that same area, when you click ProAdvisor and then training, you go to what's called the training portal, and there's different sections. New this year is something called a personalized path. So you can click the personalized path and tell it what your goals are. And you can say if one of your goals is certification, then it will present you with all of the lessons that you need to study. Alternatively, you can go to what's called the training library and just go in order there. There's a little icon on the lessons that'll tell you if this topic is covered on a test, or if you or in which test that it's covered on. So that training is in there. The problem with the Intuit training, and I have such a love-hate relationship with Intuit, because I'm so grateful. I am so grateful that they give all of this to us for free. I mean, I was a new divorcee. I had no money. Like, if you've been through that, you know that any money that I got was like tied up in legal fees, and I didn't get it till everything was finalized. And my husband and we didn't get married till we were in our 30s. And so a lot of what he had, I didn't get because he had it before we were married. So it was not a pleasant situation for me. And if I had to pay to go back to school, if I had to pay for software, it just would have been just so much worse than it was. And so I can't tell you how grateful I am that Intuit provides this opportunity to people to get the software, to learn the software, to become certified, to help you market your business. Like, it's just so amazing. But that said, there are issues with the training. And the number one issue is that it is almost entirely reading. So there are hardly any videos. I mean, there are some videos like sprinkled in there, to learn something. There's no hands-on practice, and you just have to study it, and you just have to figure it out. And me personally, my learning style, I don't learn well from reading. That's just me. I know there's a lot, I know from my students that's true for a lot of other people, but I don't learn well from reading. And so anything that you can learn it from a textbook, or you can learn from a teacher, right? And
if I could,
yeah.
That comes from, if anyone studied NLP, they talk a lot about the 3 different learning modalities. And so people are either predominantly visual learners, kinesthetic, or auditory. And visual learners are the majority, particularly introverts. I think a lot of people who are bookkeepers, accountants, tend to veer towards the visual side. And reading, it took me a while to understand this, but people who like to read and learn from reading are auditory, because reading is we then speak in our heads. So reading suits auditory people, not the visual. And I'm definitely totally visual. I have to watch videos for stuff. I hate reading any sorts of workbooks and stuff.
Yeah. And I got through that training. I mean, I think Intuit's purpose in their training is to present the information, and they do a fairly good job of that. They just present the information. Their job is not to teach the information. And that's really the key. That's really the key difference where I come in. versus just going through the free training. So if you are, if you are like me, and I'm the same way, like if I read something, my eyes glaze over, I start falling asleep, I just can't retain it. I need to hear it. I need to watch the video. I need to actually do it hands on. I need to, and this is another thing, by the way, this is another amazing blessing that we have from Intuit, is that they provide us with a sample company where that's already pre-populated with information, that already has transactions in there that you can go in and play with. It's like a sandbox where you can go in and create a transaction, run a report, reconcile the bank statement. So all of that sandbox is there for us to play with, but they don't really provide us with direction on how to do it hands-on, because they're in the business of presenting the information. They're not in the business of teaching the information. So that's kind of where we're stuck. But it is all there, and all there for free, and thank heavens it is. I mean, there was no course like mine when I took the certification. Sometimes I see that in like Facebook groups, like, did anyone here get their certification just from the Intuit material? And I'm like, yeah, I did. I had to learn it that way first. So
Okay, we're quite short on questions, but we do have one from Lisa. So
okay.
let's, which I think you've kind of touched on, but let's. She says, do you advise going through all the training modules?
Well, it depends on your goal. So it depends on your goal, really. If your goal is to get certified, then you really have to go through all the modules, because otherwise, because you don't know what's going to be on the test. It'll say there is a little icon that says this lesson, is covered in the test, but you don't know what in that lesson you have to remember or retain. And the other downside, I mentioned earlier that the test is open book, but that training portal is not searchable. So you have to like click around, or if you don't want to do this, another thing I would recommend is to kind of create your own outline of where everything is located, so that when you go take the test, then you can find, oh, like this is like my table of contents, so that I can go in and I can go into that into the training and find that topic. So because you don't know what's on the test, and you don't know, you do kind of have to go through all of the training modules. If your goal is just to become more proficient, then you can pick and choose. You can look and see what topics you may want to learn, and what is going to be helpful. So I personally would not go through all of the training just because. Because if you don't have a goal or a reason, it would be kind of mind numbing to me, I think. I hope that helps.
Great, thank you for that, Margie. We've got a couple more questions have come in.
Yeah.
I know you've got more stuff to talk about as well, but let's get these two questions. So I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this right. Is it Tomeka? Forgive me if I got it wrong. Anyway, says, hi Margie, is there a cutoff date for recertifying for ProAdvisor?
Oh, that is a great question. Thank you. So I mentioned that there is a certification season. So the certification season is November 1st to October 31st. After that October 31st deadline, you will have to recertify the following spring. So anybody who gets their certification right now will have to recertify in the spring of 2024. Okay, so not this coming spring that we're on, because we're in a current certification season, but in 2024. So the recertification season runs from, it's supposed to be April 1st, but last year they were super, super late. Like last year, I don't think we got our materials until almost May. So it's supposed to be April 1st through June 30th. So June 30th would be the last day to recertify. Now, the recertification process is much different than the initial certification because you don't have to completely take all of the tests again. You recertify at your highest level. So advanced, you take both the basic and the advanced certifications, and then basic, you take the basic. But if you just recently got say you got your basic a long time ago and you just recently got your advanced, that resets the clock. So you don't have to recertify your basic. Taking the advanced does that for you. And then the test itself is very short. It only covers the new material since you last got your certification. I mentioned in the beginning that you being a ProAdvisor is really advantageous to Intuit. I mean, it's advantageous to you because for all the reasons we mentioned, but it's advantageous to Intuit because you become their ambassador. And this is an opportunity for them to highlight new features that they just revealed to make sure that you know how to use them, so that then you can go out to be an ambassador and say, hey, I just found out that QuickBooks Online now has XYZ, or now there's a much better way to handle whatever, or there's this really cool new, last year they revealed a new visualized charts and reports tool. So that kind of thing. So thanks, Tamika, for asking that question. That's about the recertification.
Yeah, and it sounds like I pronounced the name right, so I'm pleased with that as well. So that was an interesting point you just said about how they use it to tell you about the latest features. So a question that might come as a bit of a curveball, but when you think about the features they've brought out in, let's say, the last 6 months, what's your favorite feature that they brought out recently, Margie?
Oh, I have learned so much. So that's an interesting question. So this year on the certification test, so every year they change the test, obviously. And they took out a bunch of stuff that we had to learn last year. And this year, the certification test has a whole section on QBO advanced subscription level. Now, this is not to be confused with the advanced level certification test. This is so QuickBooks Online, your clients can get, Simple Start, Essentials, QBO Plus, or QBO Advanced. And so they are really pouring in a lot of development into QBO Advanced. And so there are this year on the test, for anybody who's getting the new advanced, of course, I have to learn everything because I'm teaching it, right? But this year, if you get certified in advanced, there's a whole section on the QuickBooks Online Advanced certification features. And I learned all sorts of cool new things. One of them is batch transactions. So you can either import from another system, or you can just enter a bunch of transactions in a grid, where you can just say, oh, the customer, if you could say you're entering a bunch of sales receipts, you could just say, oh, the customer is this, and this is what they bought, and this how much it was. And then the next line, you just do a bunch of them like in a spreadsheet, and then click the thing, it imports them all. I thought that was amazing. The visualized performance chart, which I mentioned, that's a new feature in QuickBooks Online Advanced. And then they also have a new report builder with pivot tables. And I did not even know what pivot tables were. I'd heard the term, but I didn't know what they were. And so I was able to go in and learn and actually create an exercise. This is one of the things that I provide my students, and I have a ton of them out there for free, people, is hands-on exercises so that you can actually walk through step by step using the sample company and learn how to use these different features. So yeah, so I've been learning lots. There's so much all the time. Every month, Intuit hosts a webinar called In the Know, where they unveil like new features that are coming out in their different products. And so I enjoy those too. And it's interesting to me. I always watch them thinking, okay, is this going to be on the test next year? And it rarely is, but still lots of cool stuff. So
We use QBO for our own internal use, bookkeeping wise, but we have no idea what we're doing. So we're probably using about 10% of the features. There's probably so much automation we could do.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I a few months ago, I hired a new marketing agency, and they use QuickBooks Online, and they sent me an invoice, and it was so poorly done. On our next marketing call, I said, "Who puts together these invoices?" And he said, "Ooh, what? Are we doing it wrong?" And I said, "Yes, you're doing it wrong. Let me walk you through it." So yeah,
I'm always very impressed. Very impressed with bookkeepers. They do a brilliant job. I know I'm a great accountant. I used to do taxes and stuff, but bookkeeping, I just haven't got the patience for it. So I muddle my way through our finances.
Yeah.
We have had a few more.
For all of us.
We couple more. One more question, I think.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at another comment I'm not sure if it's a question or a comment. Anyway, actually, before I got this comment came in, actually a few minutes ago. So Pamela Coleman said, I just took the test yesterday and passed with 96.8%. Congratulations. That grade is due to fast and easy QBO. I used QBO years ago, but never understood it. A bit like me. Now I do.
Aw.
So,
Thanks, Pamela.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Yeah.
I have great students.
So do I. I have great students as well.
Yeah.
And so another one I know very well who turns up a lot is Parol. Parol says, a question then. He says, how long is the certification training which Intuit provides in general manner? And please guide us about your training program as well and the required time frame. So 2 questions there. It may be, we've got 10 minutes, we'll definitely get to the second question because I want to know more about your training program. So do you want to answer them both now?
Yeah, I didn't quite understand the first question. So if you could repeat that.
Yeah, of course I will, yes. So how long is the certification training which Intuit provides in general manner?
So what does that mean in general?
I guess that means if you, rather than using if someone kind of did the free option and went through into its training and certification, how long can you expect that to take?
Oh, how long does it take to go through it?
That's what I think. Yeah, how long is it? Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's an excellent question, and it depends on so many factors. So if you go into the training, it will say for each, is it lesson or module? I can't remember, but it will tell you, I think it's module, how long that is expected to take you to go through it. And I totaled it up. I recently totaled it up. And oh my gosh, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I don't know how they calculate. I don't know how they calculate that. Because my programs, I can look at, because it's video based, I can look at how long the video is, right? So all of our lessons have a video lesson, and then there's associated exercises. So I can estimate based on that how long mine is going to take. I don't know when it's just reading, like that's what theirs is. I don't know if in adult education, maybe there's some kind of formula for if it's X number of words and what the average speed is. And I don't know. So you can go and you can look at that time that Intuit has that has posted to find out how long. And I'm going to throw out the term 16 hours if you calculate all of those. The but here's the thing is that if you're like me, who when I'm reading a long period of time, my mind wanders and my eyes glaze over and suddenly I realize that I haven't actually absorbed anything that I read, then I have to go back and read it again. And maybe I have to do that a couple of times, or maybe I stop and I'm like, what the heck are they talking about? Or like, I don't understand that term, or why would they say that? And then I have to think about it. And then maybe I have to look it up, and then it just drags and drags and drags on long. So I don't know. I don't know how they calculate their stuff. I know that I have students who spent months going through the Intuit training only to get lost and confused and not able to figure it out, not able to wrap their head around it after weeks, months, and then they come to me and it's just like a breath of fresh air. So so yeah, if whoever that was that asked that question, if you really, I did do the totals, and if you write to us, I think we're going to put up the email address here shortly, but if you write to us and ask for those numbers, I will give it to you because I did do the calculation recently.
Great. It was Parul who asked the question.
Okay, great.
So that was great. Thanks for answering that. And yeah. I've just seen a comment came in from Dan, which kind of adds to that. Dan says, time for Intuit training. I usually read pretty quickly, but I've found that I need maybe twice as long as what Intuit says each module should take.
Exactly. Exactly.
I have two more questions at the moment. We have 6 minutes left.
Okay.
Before I go to those questions, Margie, because one question that I must ask before we run out of time is, so how can people find out more about what you do? And I know that Sarah's going to put some links into the comments box.
Yeah. So you can find all of my courses. Our company is Fast and Easy QBO. So fastandeasyqbo.com will show you more about like what we do and can link to all of our different courses. However, I did put together a special page just for your audience at Fast and Easy, and that's why Sarah's going to put up is fastandeasyqbo.com/Mark. And everything that we've talked about today is in there. So I have a free guide that talks all about how to sign up for your QBOA account, how to locate the training, the free training, how to some tips on actually taking the test. All of that kind of stuff. You can grab a copy of that. Links to all of our courses. And if you use the coupon code on your mark, then if you buy anything today with that coupon code, you get 30% off all of our certification courses. And then after today, so today only 30%, and then after today, it's going to be 20% off. So that's how you can find. And then to reach us, you can just reach me at support@fastandeasyqbo.com.
Awesome. Thank you. And Sarah did post the link in there. So whether you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever, you'll find it in the comments. We'll probably post in the description afterwards as well. Right. We have about 3 minutes left. I think time for a couple more questions. Let me think. I lost track of because someone didn't put a QQ in front. Let's go with Deborah. Deborah said, here we go. Hi, Margie. I think there is training material for certification in PDF form somewhere in QBOA. Are you familiar with this? If so, do you know where it is?
Yes. So again, I'm only talking about the US version, so I don't know where you are in the world and what the situation is for all of the other PDF stuff. I mean, all of the other ProAdvisor stuff. The Intuit does publish what are called supplemental guides for the advanced course only. So these are not available for basic. They're not available for payroll, which is a shame because they're really valuable. It's really valuable stuff. The only way to get those training PDFs is to sign up for an Intuit bootcamp. So in addition to the free training that's in your QBOA account that has you go inside your QBO account, and then there's what's called on-demand training. So you can click all of the things and read all of the stuff. They do have every so often a certification bootcamp, which is sort of live. I say sort of live because there are actual live people answering the chat, but the webinars themselves are pre-recorded. And so they go through a bunch of information. I will just warn you, because I'm an auditory person. Like I have to I signed when I first started, I signed up for them very hopeful because I was reading through the Intuit material and I was not getting it. And I thought, oh, if I go to the boot camp, then I'll be able to hear it and see the slides, and this is going to be a game changer for me. And it wasn't, because again, they're not teaching you the information, they're just presenting the information. So just to give just a really quick plug, I know we're almost out of time, but all of my courses each lesson has a video, and then it has an interactive activity to reinforce the information that you are learning. You're not going to get that in Intuit. There's nothing to reinforce. So there's an interactive activity to reinforce the information. There is an exercise, a hands-on exercise that you can go and do what you just learned in the sample company. So you're actually clicking the buttons and actually doing it. And then there is also a quiz on the material that is based on the actual exam questions. So you are fully prepared once you go in, and we teach it in the order of the test and exactly what you need to know for the test, so you feel confident and prepared to go in and take that test. And I think one of my students just posted like what of a high score she got because she knew, she was confident with it.
Great, thank you for that. I was distracted just because I was going onto my Facebook group, because there's one final question.
Uh-huh.
I think she, and I wasn't sure who it was because Facebook groups don't share the username.
Oh, right.
Anyway, I know it's Afsena. Is that pronounced right? Afsena asked the question: how to find out more about monthly webinar, about new features and Intuit.
That is called In the Know. It's called In the Know. So I think if you just Google In the Know QBO, something like that, then you'll be able to find it. Or go on Firm of the Future, which is Intuit's blog, and they typically have information about that.
Great, thank you. And I think it was Afsena. I don't know if it's the same question or a different one, but it's from Afsena again. I haven't heard of Intuit Bootcamp. Where do I get more info about that?
That is a really great question, because I don't know the answer to that. They moved it. It used to be that you could go into your QBOA account in that training portal and sign up for them, but they've moved it. I know when I log in to my account right now, there's like a banner that says, sign up for the bootcamp. I think there's one coming up at the end of February, but I don't know at this moment in time where they're putting them, because like I said, they moved it. Sorry.
Okay. Right. I think we're out of time. We're actually 1 minute over, but there's been some great stuff. Thank you so much, Margie, for sharing some great stuff. There's been some really nice comments, and we'll catch up some other time. I just have a couple of final announcements for people before we then close out with some music. So first one is if you found this valuable, please put in the comments box. What's the most useful thing you've learned today? It'd be great feedback to know what's the best thing you've learned today. What's the biggest insight you've got? And secondly, just to show that you had some value as well, if you could click that thumbs up button or like button, whatever it might well be, wherever you are on LinkedIn, Facebook, social media, that would be awesome too. My next live session, I said at the start, but just a quick reminder, the next time we go live is with the 3-day conference, the Profitable Bookkeeping Conference, where I teach you over 3 days and some great guest speakers. We teach how to value price bookkeeping work. If you haven't got your free ticket yet, we did put a link to that. It's in the comments somewhere. Sarah posted the link to get the ticket. So hopefully I will see you on February the 21st. As usual, I'm going to play out with some music, give me a chance to read the final comments, and I will see you all again soon, hopefully February the 21st. Bye for now.
I wasted all my time, I wasted all my nights, I wasted it on someone who's indifferent. He didn't love me right, he told me I was blind, but I never really wanted to listen.